fans going to suffer from the aspect, or are we just feeding this conspiracy theory fuel? Do you really think everybody's going to be up and honest? I mean, how are they going to enforce? How are they going to keep? How are they going to keep it clean, other than just saying, "Oh, well, you got this integrity fee. It's a fee you're going to have to pay. That's going to keep your integrity." I think there's a lot of fans out there that say, this is going to increase the chances, and I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. I'm actually for it, but I'm playing the devil's advocate here, that this is actually going to increase the chances where you're going to see teams taking dives, and you're going to see teams and players kind of going back to the way that it used to be. And what assurance does the fans have that it's not going to go back to the way that things used to be in the old days?
Well, the people who feel that way are 100% wrong, and here's why. So, as a fan, it's naive to sit here and think now that there aren't billions of dollars that are exchanged under the table illegally right now or overseas. So now, if anything, it's going to help these franchises and things stay more on the up and up, because now it's going to be federally and statewide regulated. So if anything, there's going to be more checks and balances. Now, last year on the Super Bowl, some words of $100 billion were bet on that one game. And do you think it was all in Vegas? Hell no, it wasn't. It was illegally, locally here in the States and overseas. So if anything now, it's just going to be regulated to where there's more checks and balances, more rules, to where it's going to be, there's going to be people who will be able to sniff out those kind of things. Will it still happen? Yeah, it still happens today. It's happened for the past 20 years. You just don't hear much about it because it all happens underground. So now it'll be easier, I think, for people to catch these folks doing it, because, so much of it is regulated now. So if anything, it's better for sports, because for people to sit back and think, oh, gosh, gambling's legal now, it's going to just be the Wild West again. No, it's never stopped. The gambling has never stopped. It's just been done illegally for so long. So now it'll be legally with people regulating it, as opposed to now where it's just going on, from my hand to your hand if we're betting illegally.
Rick, go ahead. Any final thoughts on the gambling thing? We're going to move into the NBA playoffs.
No final thoughts. I was just going to say I can't wait for all these buildings to pop up. We already have a casino here anyway in Evansville, but I would like to see like a separate building, kind of like an OTB. If you guys there, I know Mo's probably been. Tom, I'm sure you've been. A bunch of TVs, watch all these different races. It's almost like a B-Does for horse racing. I can't wait for buildings to pop up that are like that for the sports betting. I think that'd be totally cool, totally fun. I'd like to get into some of that action myself, actually, but just seeing these buildings and everything pop up, I think it'd be great.
Well, we need to get some sponsorships going on with some of these casinos going on. So, Rick, we need to get on that so we can get our cut of the pie. Our cut of the pie.
That's right. That's why I say I want some of that action.
So Mo, you never did answer my question. We got to circle back around here. Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame? Yes? No? Yes. Hall of Famers say yes?
He should have been in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, years ago. I mean, he should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago. Like I said, just not allowed, I think, to have a job in Major League Baseball. He should have been in the Hall of Fame. Again, we're supposed to judge what people do on the field, and this was off the field, so just don't allow him to hold a job. He should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago.
So, well, we get to the playoffs. Here we are, Game 4 of the Boston Celtics against the Cavaliers. The Boston leads the series, I believe, 3-0, I think. They lead the series.
2-0.
Either which way, 2-0, okay. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers have shown up to brew nothing. And I think a lot of people believe that the Cavaliers weren't on point to go to another championship. They're not going to get past the Boston Celtics. I don't think so. What are your thoughts? Let's break this down. I think that LeBron James, great player, yes. Is he going to be with the Cavaliers next year? No. Are they going to get past the Boston Celtics? No. So to me, the Cleveland Cavaliers are nothing more than a mediocre basketball team with a great player. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, that's the last part's true. They're a mediocre basketball team with the best player in the NBA, but terrible on the road this far in the playoffs. And just to look at what Vegas thinks, Vegas has the Cavaliers as a favorite tonight at home against the Celtics. So, I would keep, if it were me, I would keep your money on the Cavs tonight. I don't think LeBron loses it at home. But if you look forward to the NBA Finals, Boston versus Golden State seems like a better matchup. As far as LeBron leaving the Cavs, I mean, I was 50-50 on it a couple of weeks ago, but I'm probably more 60-40 that he stays, and here's why. Obviously, the East is an easier route to the finals every year, so I don't think he goes west. I don't think Philadelphia, the mojo for them would be the same with LeBron there, obviously. And I think that there's some ways that they can overhaul this roster with the pick they have and with some free agents that are now available, are about to be available to change this roster. And I don't think LeBron wants the PR hit again of leaving Cleveland. I mean, if you look at what he's not only done for this team, but done what he does for the city, I think no athlete in any sport anywhere has had the type of impact on the city that LeBron James has. Save maybe Peyton Manning a few years ago, but Indianapolis wasn't as much in trouble as Cleveland was until LeBron came back. So I think it's probably 60-40 now that LeBron stays with the Cavs, but his fingers will be all over the tampering of this roster come the offseason. But tonight my money's on the Cavs. Boston's been terrible on the road so far in the playoffs, and you got LeBron back at home, and I think that we've seen an amazing performance from him tonight.
Well, I think it'll be amazing to see Brad Stevens in Boston get past the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's going to be huge. Rick, what are your thoughts? LeBron James, great player. Cleveland Cavaliers, mediocre team. What are your thoughts on the Cleveland on the Eastern Championship here, the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Well, I have a question for Mo. It's do you hear Laurel or Yanni? Because I don't hear either one.
Well,
I'll tell you what I hear here in a minute.
So if you go back to the Reddit user who originally started the whole thing, it's just playing with the sound waves at one point. So it actually is Laurel that he was saying, but depending on how you tweak the sound waves of it, it does come out Yanni.
All right, I hear down 0-2 to a team without Kyrie or Hayward. That's what I hear.
Yeah. That's definitely what it is.
So, Rick, are you saying when you watch the NBA, all you do is Yanni?
I'm not the biggest NBA fan, but I do enjoy watching the playoffs. It's really exciting. I actually think what LeBron has done in the playoffs, even though Jordan has the 6 titles, I think LeBron has done more impressive. This Cavs team ain't even a playoff team without LeBron, and he's got them in the Eastern Conference Finals, once again. So you have to recognize greatness, and I just think when it's all said and done, and we can start the argument here, carry it into the future because it's always going to be debated. I think all said and done, LeBron is actually going to be probably ahead of Jordan.
Well, that debate will go on to infinity and beyond. At the beginning of the season, Mo, I asked you, do you think the Golden State Warriors are the best team in the NBA? Do you still think that?
Yeah, I do, because no team, no matter how good they are, including the Houston Rockets, match up well with them. So I think what's going to wind up happening now, because of the way that Golden State moves the basketball and shoots the basketball, that they've kind of rendered Clint Capella useless so far in the series, and you can have a rim stopper, but it doesn't do you much good if you can't continue to shoot the ball great from outside. We saw it not work for them so well in Game 1. The Rockets made some adjustments at Game 2, and then wound up winning that basketball game. But even a 90%, 80% Steph Curry is still better than 3/4 of the Houston Rockets roster. Kevin Durant is unguardable. It's so hard to guard a guy who's that big, that long, with that wingspan, who can shoot the outside shot as well as drive the ball to the basket. And it's an unselfish team. You've got 3 of the best shooters in NBA history with Klay Thompson and Durant and Curry. And you factor in Draymond Green and the play that they get from the bench and a couple of the young guys that they've drafted. It's a damn good basketball team. Factor in the coaching of Steve Kerr, and on the other side, you've got Mike D'Antoni, who is newer to being this far in the playoffs. It's a fun offense, but I don't think that Houston or anybody in the NBA right now can keep up with the ball movement and the speed of Golden State. They let you get back in the games at times, and they make you feel like you're coming back, then they just pour it back on again. So it's very fun to watch the ebbs and flows of the Golden State offense.
Well, I would love to see something new and different. So I'm just, as a fan, I'm going to root for Boston and the Rockets in the NBA Finals. I'm going to watch ESPN and TNT curl up in the fetal position and cry because they're losing so much money. And it's all going to be good, and life goes on. So we will see how that all pans out. This has been our Bump Day edition, and Bump Day at the track. There won't be any Balance Extra today because as soon as this show's over, I'm headed out to the track to catch back up with Matthew Embury, who spent the first hour and a half with us breaking down all 35 cars, and we've got an actual Bump Day. Mo, we don't talk a lot of IndyCar with you. I know I've been sharing some action from the track with you this week, but what are your thoughts on the Indianapolis 500 this year?
It's not over yet. No, it's nice to see that at least one race is attended at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the two big races. I think the concern for me for racing is more, obviously this is the time of year where IndyCar really gets their big bump, but overall, if you look how far ahead NASCAR was, just 5 or 10 years ago, the fact that, attendance is at an all-time low from its high. Ratings are at a low from where its high was 7 or 8, 9, 10 years ago. You've got a lot of the major stars that are gone. So I'm not as concerned anymore about IndyCar as I am about the health of NASCAR with the rumors of the France family then selling. So if I'm IndyCar right now, I think I'm feeling a little bit better about myself watching the big brother who always looked down on us is struggling so bad. So I think for IndyCar, I think that a great showing and an exciting 500 will definitely help them. This is a time where you want to put your best foot forward when you get the most eyes of the year on your sport. So I think a good, fun, exciting race will definitely help IndyCar as they continue to watch NASCAR free fall beside them.
Absolutely, and I'm going to be excited to be out there at the track, and stick with us on social media. I'm going to catch up with Matthew Embury. We're going to be doing some live Twitters, which, by the way, guys, if you didn't know, it's just Periscope on Twitter, but that's okay. We have a lot of fun with that, and we're going to do some Facebook Live as well. So we're going to be headed out to the track. We'll start with you, Rick. Final words of wisdom that you may want to partake upon us, sir.
Final words is thank you to all of our service members, all of our veterans are really our true heroes here in our country. Today is National Armed Forces Day, so big thank you to everybody served and currently serving.
Absolutely. And you're right, and thanks for that tweet, #Armed Forces Day. We do support our troops as well. Mo from the BS Sports Show breaking down the new legalized betting for us today and helping us understand what that means as a fan and what that means to teams. Mo, what is your final words of wisdom that you want to partake upon us, sir?
Well, there's no way I can do that.
You're cutting out, buddy. What'd you say?
But there's no way I can outdo what Rick said, so what he said.
Okay. All right, Mo, where can people find your work and your masterpieces, sir?
On Twitter, @Mo Radio Show.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Put a bow on it. My name is Tom Marquis, El Presidente. We'll catch up with you next week. Make sure you're following us on The Balance at T-Balance. Thanks to Rick-Riggin, our executive producer in the War Room. My name's Tom Marquis. Don't drink and drive. It isn't cool. We'll see you next week right here on the Balance Radio Network.
Tonight.
Join us next week for The Balance. In the meantime, check us out on Twitter, T-Balance, or Facebook, The Balance, or online at www.thebalanceonline.com.